So, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking in our last Sports File Vintage podcast about a couple of the prospects, Glenn Goldup and Randy Rhoda, who were taken a good look at by Montreal franchise with the possibility of them being either a strong fourth line player or to be a key player in the Canadiens' development program, be it CHL or AHL. But this player kind of fell between the cracks. Even though he was a high draft pick in the Montreal Canadiens, he never really panned out for the Habs, but he played well for other squads in the NHL and WHA. Now, today we're going to talk about the curious case of Lynn Powis. Now, Lynn Powis was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, and he was the brother of the very talented Jeff Powis, who also played professional ice hockey. Now, he played his junior hockey with the Melville Millionaires and the Moose Jaw Canucks. Now, his time with the Canucks was quite productive with 31 points at 52 games. Now, Montreal took a big look at the NCAA program at the time. He ended up with the University of Denver. Now, the University of Denver had a very strong program, and Montreal really liked what they saw, especially after the 69 season, and with 17 goals in 30 games. They decided to take a chance on him by drafting him 68 overall in the 69 draft. Now, he turned professional with the Denver Spurs, which was the later name of the WHA squad of the same community, and he had 14 goals and 13 assists for 27 points. And 71-72 in kind of what he called third line time. He had 5 goals and 6 assists for 11 points in 38 games. Now, Montreal had drafted a whole bunch of players in the 72 draft. I think they were tired of Powis, not that because he wasn't talented, but they had to make room. So they traded him to the Atlanta Flames expansion squad. And although he never played a game with Atlanta, he still had a high amount of recognition, and eventually ended up with, after a good season with the Omaha Knights. His rookie season with the Chicago in '74 drew a lot of interest as he scored 8 goals and 13 assists for 21 points in 57 games. Now, by the time expansion, Powis was high on the radar of the Kansas City Scouts, who drafted him in the expansion draft. And that season with Kansas City, he played a full year with 11 goals and 20 assists for 31 points. Now, for some reason, which I don't understand, he was traded the offseason to St. Louis Blues, and the St. Louis Blues didn't want to really give him a chance, and he never was play again in the NHL. Now, he was waived by St. Louis after a strong season, not a full season, but he was waived by the Providence Reds despite scoring 30 goals in 52 games with 31 assists. He was waived and he was signed as an unrestricted free agent for the Calgary Cowboys with 21 games in the season, 14 points, and he really blossomed in Calgary's playoffs. He had 5 goals and 4 assists in 10 games. But his breakthrough year was the next season with 30 goals and 30 assists in 60 games. Now, with the destruction of the Calgary franchise in the next season, he moved on to the Indianapolis Racers and later the Winnipeg Jets. And in 69 games, he had 16 goals, 25 assists for 41 points. Now, after the 78 season, he found himself outside the Jets team, despite winning an AFCO Cup that year with the Bobby Hull-led squad. Now, in 1978, Powis moved to Germany and played 4 seasons in the German Level 1 and Level 2 leagues, and he finished career with 1 season in the Italian for Alleghe, retiring in 1983. Now, Montreal was right to see something in him, because in 153 WHA games, he had 115 points, including 50 goals, and 130 games in NHL, 19 goals, 33 assists, 52 points. Now, his offensive style was basically, like I said, a combination of Dougie Jarvis and a young Guy Carbonneau. Any player comes from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, is there to play, and he he had talent. And you got to understand, Montreal owned his rights. Atlanta, Chicago, Kansas City, St. Louis, Calgary Cowboys, Indy Racers, when it played in Europe. Like I said, Montreal saw something in him, and other teams saw the same thing. And in that big season with Calgary in '77, he was amongst team leaders, one of the most respected players in the league. Good on both sides of the ice, good with the fans, and good with his teammates, and a decent career for somebody that came out of a NCAA program that rarely, put NHLers on the map in the '60s, but did so in the '70s. Like he's kind of linking the transition with the NCAA influx of the 1970s that really saw its full bloom in the late '70s into the early '80s. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to our Vintage Montreal Canadiens podcast. We hope you enjoy it and keep your stick in the ice. Bye.